So, oops, I have the apple. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal, kind of like a snack review, but today I'm trying all different apples. So I talk about apples all the time because I have one every single day. I actually had to wear my merch shirt today that I love. It says an apple a day because I talk about it all the time. Part of my weight loss journey, one thing that's really helped me is having an apple every single day after I finish my dinner. It helps to satisfy my sweet tooth because every time I finish any meal, like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, anything that's like savory or salty, I crave something sweet right after, and fruit has been so helpful for me on my weight loss journey to satisfy those cravings, and that's why I love apples. But anyway, recently I've been talking more and more about Honeycrisp, which those have always been my favorite apples since I started my journey. That's the kind I buy pretty much every time. If you go back and watch any of my hauls, I'm buying Honeycrisp apples every single time. But recently they haven't been tasting normal, and they haven't been tasting very good, and I talked about it in one of my recent grocery hauls and had a lot of other people mention that they noticed that in the past few months specifically, Honeycrisp have really gone downhill. So today I'm kind of on the hunt for a new apple to start buying that I'm gonna have as my apple after dinner every day. It is something that I could mix up, but I kind of just like routine. I like finding one that I really like, and having Honeycrisp be something that I enjoyed so much and looked forward to every day really made it easier to stay consistent with it, which it's good because it helps with my digestion. It has a good amount of fiber. Like I said, it also satisfies my sweet tooth. So today I'm gonna be trying 13 different apples. We're gonna be going through and I'm gonna pick my favorite. I'll be giving some rankings and ratings on certain things like taste and texture, and I just thought this would be a fun video to kind of give some info about different apples. And then once I'm done, because I've got 24 apples in front of me, I've got 2 of each kind, I'm gonna make a giant apple crisp, a little bit lightened up, and then I think I'm just gonna freeze it in containers so that I can take it out and add it to my yogurt or just have it as desserts or even to like oatmeal or something as a topper. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with the apple taste test first, and then we'll make the apple crisp, and hopefully I have a new favorite apple by the end of this. So I'd love to hear your guys' favorite apple at the moment if I'm trying one of them today. I've got some random ones that I honestly haven't even heard of, so I'm really excited to try them. It's really interesting because it seems like a lot of these different types of apples, they're trying to go for what a Honeycrisp is, and they're kind of like a mix of a Honeycrisp and another apple. So I'll be giving some background info as I go. I kind of did some research on these, but let's just go ahead and get started. So if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's jump right in. Adam isn't with me today. Usually he's in our taste test videos, but he actually doesn't really like apples. When I first met him, he would say that he was allergic to them, and he would always joke about like carrots. He says that it makes the top of his mouth feel rough, and that's why he's always thought he was allergic, and so he just doesn't like apples. I don't know, especially raw. He'll usually have them cooked, but anyway, he's not gonna be trying these today. I'm doing this all on my own because I'm the one who loves apples. We're gonna go ahead and start with a Honeycrisp actually. So I did wash these, but I left the stickers on so that I could identify what each apple is. The first one that we're starting with today is a Honeycrisp. I thought I might as well just try a bite of this one. I'm sure it's gonna taste how they've all been tasting lately. I really like Honeycrisp because they are sweet, they're crunchy, and they have a nice like firmness to them. Let's go ahead and try a bite of this. I'm gonna give it a score 1 through 5 for the taste and for the texture, and then at the end we're just gonna rank them and see which one is my top apple. So here is the Honeycrisp. Okay, to be honest, for the Honeycrisp that I've been having lately, this one tastes a little bit better than normal. I only got these from 2 stores. I got them from Meijer and Fresh Thyme, but I was able to get a good variety from both those places. But I still love Honeycrisp because of the texture. I wish that they had the same sweetness. To me, I feel like it just tastes kind of watery. And when I've been getting the ones that taste worse, they almost taste like sewer. Like, not actually sewer, but like that's just what I imagine. What they taste like, they have like a really weird, not great taste to them lately. This one is definitely better. It doesn't have that like weird aftertaste, but it does lack a lot of the sweetness that they used to have. Although I would say that the texture is perfect. I still like the crispiness of it and everything. Okay, so I'm gonna say 3 for taste and 4 for texture for the Honeycrisp. And the notes I had about Honeycrisp apples is that they're sweet with a subtle tartness, they are super crisp and juicy, and they are bred for crunch. So they're meant to be like extra crispy. And as I go, I'm just gonna be chopping these up and adding them to a bowl. And then like I said, at the end, I'm gonna make a giant apple crisp. And I usually, when I bake recipes, like to just keep the skin on, but you could definitely peel the skin if you were gonna make an apple crisp like this. It's just my preference to leave it on. Okay, the next apple I'm gonna be trying today is going to be a Golden Delicious, which honestly, I haven't had a Golden Delicious in years. I feel like this is one of the apples that reminds me of when I was younger and I would eat apples, and I usually don't like them as much just because of the texture of them. I don't really prefer when they're like softer on the inside. I really do like the juicy crispiness. So I'm still gonna see how it is, but usually when they're kind of like grainy and mushy, I'm really not a big fan of them, and I kind of feel like that's how this is gonna be. The notes for Golden Delicious, they're mildly sweet, mellow, sometimes floral, soft and tender, and they do bruise easily, which I didn't notice on these ones, but that's something about them. So here is Golden Delicious. Okay, I was actually really surprised with that Golden Delicious. It kind of had a similar texture to the Honeycrisp actually. It was pretty crisp. Even when I cut it, it seemed like it was gonna be kind of mushy, but it wasn't. So it definitely has more of like a watered down, not as sweet flavor to it, kind of similar to what the first Honeycrisp I had was. But I was surprised with the texture. I feel like it's actually better than I expected. So I did give it a 4 for taste because it's actually a little bit sweeter than the Honeycrisp. And then I gave it a 4 for texture because I feel like it's actually pretty similar to what the Honeycrisp was, and I like them when they're this crispy. Okay, the next one is one that I haven't heard of before. So this is a pazazz apple. Now these are known for being bright, bold, and sweet with a slight tang. They're crunchy and firm, and they're grown to maintain crispiness. So it seems like when I was looking up a lot of these different types of apples, that's like what their main focus is being able to grow them to last long and stay crispy for a while. So let's see how this one is. But like I said, a pazazz, I don't think I've ever really seen these before, so they might be a little bit on the harder side to find. They do seem to have a pretty firm texture when I'm cutting it though, but this is a pazazz apple. Okay, that's really good. That has a really good freshness to it. That's better than I expected. It has a little bit more sweetness than the Honeycrisp. Perfect firmness, actually. I don't know, it almost reminds me of like going apple picking and having like a fresh apple. Like, it's got a nice freshness to it. So I definitely like the taste and texture for that. I'm gonna give it a 4 for both. Okay, the next one I am so excited for because I've never heard of a lemonade apple before, but it sounds really interesting, and I'm kind of hoping it has a little bit of a lemony taste to it. So this is a lemonade apple. So these are known for being bright, tart, citrusy, and slightly sweet. They're crunchy and firm, and they're known for their lemon zing. So let's see if we can taste that lemon zing. Okay, so again, seems pretty firm. So far, all of these have been really firm, which I'm glad about. It's got a nice yellow skin to it, and let's see if it tastes like lemon. Okay, that one's definitely a little bit more on the tart side, although it does have like a little bit of a sweet aftertaste, and it's weird because I can kind of like get a little bit of citrusy, but it's not like full on lemon flavor. Of course, I didn't expect it to be like that, but it does kind of have like a tanginess to it. So I like it. It's way crisper than I actually thought, but it's not very juicy, and I kind of like them when they're a little bit more juicy. So I think it's good. I think the texture is really good. The taste, I'm gonna give a lower number because it's more on the tart side, and the way I'm ranking them, 1 is more tart and 5 is more sweet. I usually prefer more on the sweet side. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 2 for the taste. And then I'm gonna give it a 3 for texture because it's really crispy, but it's not very juicy, and I feel like it's like lacking that. Even just like looking at it, it seems kind of dry. Okay, the next apple that I'm trying is a gala apple, which I feel like these are usually the ones we would use to do like caramel apples at my old job. And I feel like they have more of like a mild, less sweet flavor. Their texture is also a little bit on the softer side, so not always my favorite, but like I said, so far all of these have been pretty crisp. None of them have been mushy like what I really don't like, which is good. Anyway, so this is mildly sweet. It's kind of vanilla-like is how they describe it online. It's soft, less crunchy, and it's one of the top selling apples in the US. Let's see. Definitely way sweeter than I was expecting. I kind of like my apples more on the sweet side like this, so I would give it a 5 for taste. It is like very, very sweet. The texture, not so much what I like. It's a little bit on the like grainy, mushy side, but not over the top. I just think that if it was a little bit juicier and firmer, I would like it more. I am gonna give it a 5 for sweetness, and then I'm gonna give it a 3 for texture. Okay, the next apple I'm trying is a classic, but I thought I would just include it for this taste test because it's honestly been a while since I've had a Granny Smith apple. Actually, at the place that we like to get all you can eat sushi, one of my favorite rolls has apple on it. It's like shrimp and apple, and I can't even remember what else is on it, but they usually use Granny Smith, and it is so good. I don't always prefer to eat Granny Smith, but when it's on the sushi, I just love it. So Granny Smith are known for their tart flavor. Usually they're pretty sour and pretty firm, but not super juicy. Usually Granny Smith are really good for baking, but I'm gonna try it out and see how I like it plain. way too sour for me. They are good, but I give it a 1 for taste because it is sour and tart and just not very sweet at all. And for texture, I say about a 3 again. Most of these have actually been pretty similar with their texture, where they're firm, but they're not super juicy. They're kind of like a little bit more on the dry side, but this one's definitely really sour. Not one that I would reach for, but like I said, it does work really well for baking. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up and still add it to the apple crisp, but I don't think I'll be buying Granny Smith to have after my dinners. And because I'm already starting to chop these up for the apple crisp, I am putting a little bit of lime juice on them. I didn't have any lemon juice. Usually you would use lemon juice, but I just want to kind of keep them from browning a little bit, so I just am gonna put a little splash of lime juice, and then I'll periodically do that as I keep chopping apples. That's it for Granny Smith. The next apple that we're gonna try is going to be an Envy. So this is one I've actually had a lot of people tell me that they enjoy these, and I've been on the lookout for them. So I'm excited to try these today. These are known for also being crisp and not super juicy, but they're a little bit more on the sweet side. And it says that these are known for not browning quickly when cut, so they're great for snacking. This one definitely seems very similar to Honeycrisp, and it looks kind of juicy when I cut it, but this is an Envy. Okay, that's another one that's very sweet. And online I saw some apples being described as kind of candy-like. This, I would say, kind of has that candy-like sweetness to it. It's good, and I do like it, but maybe there's like a little bit too sweet. Like, I feel like there's a balance between a Honeycrisp, and this is a little bit over the top for the sweetness for me, but it is an option that I like, and with how the Honeycrisp apples have been lately, I think I would probably prefer this type of apple, the Envy, over a Honeycrisp. So I guess that bumps it above the Honeycrisp, but so far it's just a little bit sweet for me, but I do like the texture. Okay, moving on, another classic apple. This is a Fuji apple, which I feel like this is one of those that I see all the time, and I should just know what it tastes like, but I haven't had one of these in a while either. So, Fuji apple. These are known for being very sweet, firm, dense, and a little bit less crisp. They are one of the sweetest apples, so let's see how sweet this is, especially compared to the one we just had that I said was really sweet. So, Fuji. Okay, I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with this one. It definitely has a really, really sweet flavor, kind of similar to the last one I tried where it's like a little bit candy-like, but this one's a little bit more juicy, and I feel like I like the texture, the crispness of it. This one actually surprised me more than I expected. I'm gonna have another sliver of it because I think I like this one the most so far. It's very sweet, but it's actually pretty refreshing. I kind of felt like the other one was more like actual candy, like sugary, where it almost felt like a little bit too much. And this one is a little bit more on the refreshing side, but still really sweet. So I'm gonna actually give that a 5 for taste and a 4 for texture. Okay, we've only got a few left. So this next one is called a sweetango. And this is one I found at Fresh Thyme. They actually didn't have very many of these, so I don't know if this is more of like a hard one to find, but these are known for being tangy, sweet, citrusy, and almost tropical. They're extremely crisp, and they're a mix of a Honeycrisp and a Zester apple. And they're actually developed by the same team that made the Honeycrisp apple, which is interesting. So maybe this will be pretty similar. And like I said, this is called the Sweetango. Okay, I have to say this almost tastes more like what Honeycrisp used to taste like. I feel like it has a little bit more of a sourness though. So it's sweet, but it's also sour. It's not like super tart, but it's like, it's kind of making like my mouth water, like it's a little bit on the sour side. It does have a good texture to it. It's not super juicy. It could be a little bit juicier, but I do like how firm it is, and it's got a good flavor. I definitely think that's the closest to a Honeycrisp. It kind of just tastes like what Honeycrisp used to taste like. Okay, the last three I have are probably the three I thought would taste the most like Honeycrisp. So the next one we're gonna try is Evercrisp. This one is a crossover between a Honeycrisp and a Fuji. So Fuji so far has been my favorite that I've tried. So I'm kind of curious to see how this one is. It says that it's known for being sweet, rich, with a hint of spice, and that it's super crisp and dense. Smells really good. Out of all of them, this one I like smell really strongly. It smells fresh. But this is an Evercrisp. Okay, that was really good. That was my favorite one so far, definitely. That tastes like what a Honeycrisp used to too. Again, it's got that sweetness. Like now I feel like they just taste so watered down, and they have like a weird, not like earthy, but like I kind of said before, the only word that comes to my mouth is like sewage, although I know it doesn't taste like actual sewage, but it's got that weird flavor to it that just tastes like garbage water. And at least lately, some of them have just been so bad, but this reminds me so much of what they used to taste like. Super crisp, super juicy, and it's got the perfect like sweetness and balance of like freshness, and this is really good. And actually, as I eat more of it, it kind of tastes like a pear. Like it's like a really firm pear, but an apple, because like if you have a pear when it's too firm, it's not really like juicy and it's kind of hard to bite it. This is like as if you could bite it and it had that same flavor. So I think that that's really good. It's got a good firmness, but kind of tastes like a pear. And that was the evercrisp. So now we've got two more to try. I've got the wild twist and the cosmic crisp, which I've had the cosmic crisp before, so let's just go ahead and do that one really quick. Now, out of all the recommendations that I receive, I've definitely gotten the most for cosmic crisp, and a lot of people really like these. Again, I think they're pretty similar to what a honey crisp is. They're sweet, tart, balanced, and complex. Extra crisp, dense, and juicy, which I can tell this one's definitely more on the juicy side. And these are also designed to just have a longer shelf life. So, cosmic crisp. Okay, this one has a little bit less sweetness than the last couple I've tried. It's a little bit more on like the juicy and refreshing side, which I kind of like. And what's interesting is when I first tried Cosmic Crisp, it was actually like a couple years ago when I would talk about my Honeycrisp apples all the time, and people had told me to try these, and I did. And I thought that they kind of tasted the way that Honeycrisp tastes now. Like I thought they had like a weird sewer taste to them, and I did not like them at all. So I never ended up buying them again. I also feel like the ones I got were kind of mushy, so I probably just got bad apples that one time, and I never tried them again. But this is really good. I gave it a 4 for taste and a 5 for texture because the texture is perfect with like the juiciness, the firmness, and then the taste, I just knocked it down a point because it's not as sweet as the last one, but it's got a nice like balance between tartness and sweetness, but more on the sweet side. So that was the Cosmic Crisp. And now the last apple we have to try is the Wild Twist apple. Apparently this is a newer apple. It is bold and tangy with rich sweetness, crisp and juicy, and this is a cross between a Honeycrisp and a Pink Lady. So this is a Wild Twist. Okay, this one, at first it's a little bit kind of on the softer side, but not like too soft. I don't know if it's just this specific apple because it says they're known for being crisp and juicy, and it definitely is pretty juicy. It's a little bit more like the other one I tried, the evercrisp, where it's more on the sweet side, and the Cosmic Crisp wasn't as sweet. I definitely kind of taste the balance of flavors. It's got a good freshness, and yeah, overall I like this. I feel like all these last ones have been pretty similar to each other. They're all like crisps or twists or like versions of each other, and so they've all been pretty similar. But overall, I think that I've found a lot of options over a Honeycrisp that I would buy, especially with how they've been lately. Like I said, if they come back and they're normal again, I would definitely buy them. But with how they've been lately, I've just been trying to find a replacement because they haven't been great. So after going through all of this, I think I have to say that my favorite one that I've tried, and even based off the ranking with being the like sweetest and the crunchiest, but also juicy, I would say it's actually pretty much a tie between the evercrisp and the Cosmic apple. I think that both of them have a really good balance between like sweetness, tartness, and refreshingness, and they're pretty firm and juicy, which is what I usually look for. So I think my top 3 out of the ones I tried today, I really did like the Pazazz. That was a good one to start. And then the Gala was good, but a little bit not what I like for texture. I think that I would definitely go with the evercrisp and the Cosmic when I'm shopping. But the Fuji also surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. So anyway, this was fun. It was fun to just try all of these and see kind of where I'm at with them, what I think about all the different like tastes and textures, because really a lot of them are pretty similar, but it's just some slight things that make a difference that when I'm trying to find like the perfect apple that I look forward to eating every night, I might as well find the one that I like the best. So I think I'm gonna start buying more of the Cosmic Crisp and the evercrisp if I can find those, but I'm gonna go ahead and chop these up and make a quick apple crumble bake type thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop all of them up into here. I'm gonna toss them with a little bit more of that lime juice like I mentioned. And then to this, I'm also gonna add some honey, some cornstarch, some nutmeg, and cinnamon. And that's gonna be the base of the apples. And then I'm gonna make a crumble that goes on top using some flour, some oats, and then I think a little bit of butter, maybe some more honey and cinnamon. But I'm gonna try to keep it super low point. I'm not gonna use a lot of butter, although this will make a lot of servings. And then like I mentioned, I think I'm gonna try to like pre-portion it and just freeze a bunch of it so that I can use them for different like yogurt bowls and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the apple crisp. I'll have the recipe typed out in the description. I think I'm gonna be using most of these apples, but I'll have it in the description. Okay, my apple crisp just came out of the oven. I ended up keeping it in there for about 45 minutes and it smells amazing. Honestly, it smells like I lit like apple cinnamon candles in the house. So that was a nice little bonus, but I've got a lot here. I'm gonna divide it up, like I said, and freeze some. I might just keep some in the fridge as well and then kind of use it throughout the week, but I think I'm definitely gonna be having this for dessert tonight, even though I've had plenty of apple today. I had a lot of fun doing this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'd love to hear what your guys' current favorite apple is. I know I've been getting a lot of suggestions from you guys, but leave your favorite apple in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'll put the recipe that I made. I kind of just threw some stuff together, but I'm gonna calculate the points for this, even though I don't know how many servings I'll get because it is a lot. But I will have the ingredients I used for the apple crumble down below. But thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time.